Thank you very much. And I'm Nishimura Yasutoshi, Minister of Economy, Trade and Industry. I'm very honored to be here, and please allow me to speak in Japanese.
Once again, I am very happy to be here in GZERO Summit. I attended the GZERO Summit in 2019 and 2020 as Minister in charge of economic revitalization. It is a great pleasure to see such the meeting is being held in such an august way. The theme of this panel discussion, Building Supply Chain Resiliency, is indeed very timely theme. Actually, this month, I attended IPEF meeting in the US, Indo-Pacific Economic Forum ministerial meeting in the US, and also G7 trade minister meeting, and then Japan-ASEAN economic ministers meetings. At all of these meetings, the resiliency of supply chain was key theme. Particularly, I sensed that due to the pandemic and Russia's aggression against Ukraine, many countries have elevated anxiety about stable supply of energy and mineral resources and dependence on limited countries in supply chains. I was also left with a strong impression that countries in these meetings are interested in collaboration over critical minerals. Japan also has recognized the need for supply chain resiliency in areas such as pharmaceuticals, masks, semiconductors, resources and energy. For example, in the initial phase of the pandemic, I was minister in charge of initial response to COVID-19. We had a difficulty in supplying enough disinfectants to our people due to a shortage of general purpose components used in disinfectant pumps. These components are used in the pumps in the middle, and because of the shortage of these parts, we were not able to supply enough disinfectants to our people. Now we are witnessing a sea change in globalization due to geopolitical structural change, growing call to address environment and human rights. Businesses are expected to implement a strategy to identify and manage risks and become autonomous and indispensable. We must ensure resiliency of supply chains not only for critical commodities, but also, as I said, general purpose commodities. The government of Japan supports such effort of businesses. I will raise 3 points today based on what I have just said. And I hope active discussion by the panel based on these 3 points I will mention. First of all, as a basic perspective, I want to emphasize the importance of free and open trade. So I would like to strongly emphasize that point. As I said at the outset, when coronavirus infections started to spread, many countries imposed export control to secure medical supplies and others for their own peoples that in turn exacerbated global disruption. Maintaining free and open trade and refraining from introducing artificial supply restrictions are instrumental to supply chain resiliency. Based on that, as a second point, I would like to say that each country is expected to build resilient yet flexible and sustainable supply chains. This spring, we enacted Economic Security Promotion Law in Japan. Public and private sectors work together to secure stable supply of resources critical to our economic security. Also, this month, the government published a guideline on respecting human rights in responsible supply chains and due diligence guideline, while businesses review and strengthen supply chains from a human rights perspective. Last, but I think this is the most important effort. I want to stress the importance of cooperation with like-minded countries. We are deeply connected with each other through our trade and investment relationship. It takes more than one country to make supply chain resilient. When you friend-shore, it's economically reasonable and rational and desirable to build production bases for critical materials jointly with like-minded countries. Japan cooperates with the United States to develop next-generation semiconductor technology and with other like-minded countries for specific critical and strategic materials. With Vietnam, we have built a mechanism to immediately communicate with each other and jointly respond once contingency like supply disruption occurs. Further, emergency communication system is one of the negotiation items in the IPEF, Indo-Pacific Economic Forum, for which we have announced the start of negotiation the other day. This is one of the very important negotiation points. Such a new approach to globalization, particularly supply chain resiliency, continues to be an important topic next year under Japan's G7 presidency. As an Asian nation, Japan will stand by and work with the Indo-Pacific, which embraces fast-growing middle powers, as well as Global South, beyond Indo-Pacific, including Africa and Latin America, and lead discussion toward resiliency of global supply chains going forward. So I wanted to raise these 3 points for the discussion today. I look forward to active panel discussion today. Thank you for listening to me.